Good morning. Navigated the Conference League. It can be an absolute minefield, not knowing half of these teams. So I think we did rather well. Only the one play, but that's all you need. If it's a profitable play, let's have a look at the green screen. This was all about momentum, Zorinsky. This is why you buy a paid-for in-play stats feed, just for these little additions like the momentum graph. Zorinsky absolutely bossing it, 110 plus momentum. Then they fell off a cliff, which was a pity. I did cover the insurance on the 0-1 for Rapid Vienna, and we got a very, very late equaliser for Zorinsky, pretty much the last kick of the match, which I would take. Now, you've got two options whenever you do this, take on an underdog leading. You've got the +1 market, which is effectively laying Rapid Vienna. That's exactly what this is. Only you've got the backing version here. Covers the draw. Bang, you make a profit. You've got the other option, match odds, where you back Zorinsky half stake, lay Rapid Vienna half stake as liability. But then, when you get the late equaliser, you called it right, you make a loss. You'll make a loss on the draw, and you'll lose your insurance. Calling it right and making a loss can be an absolute frustration. The other advantage of going +1, at any stage between now and there, you can get out with the break even by getting out of both markets. That's a huge advantage. So whenever you see +1, I would say anything above 1.9, it's an absolute bargain. Okay? It's well worth taking because it covers that draw. Of course, you're going to miss out the bigger profits if they go on and win. But if you're getting frustration periods like this, where you're calling it right, and they only end up with a draw with a very, very late goal, +1 suits you down to the ground. You also have another option. You could cover that insurance and sit on it. Wait. The premium will be low. Wait. The longer you wait, the bigger the odds for the +1 become. Then you create even more value. For example, if we'd been ahead of the curve yesterday, we could have backed Zorinsky +1 here, or here, or here, for a free punt, as long as Rapid Vienna don't score that second goal. Having a look yesterday, I told you on Telegram, I just had that little feeling for the Hatters yesterday, and the angle in would have been that 2-0, as the Marriott Hotel made it 2-0, and Mr. Wing, if he's not a winger, then the manager's not a very good manager, putting Mr. Wing out on the wing. Penalty and 2-0. That's your angle in if you fancy the Hatters. But please, please, please note the scoreline. On paper, it's this lot all day long. But note not the odds. The scoreline and the odds. 2.5 the favourite. Bang. Not what I expected. But we did get a trade. Don't forget, as traders, what is our job? Is to look for the anticipation. Is to anticipate an odds movement. That's all trading is. Low entry point here. Very low entry point. Boom, Clark and Lonwick. Clark and Longwick making it 2-2. No, don't forget. Doesn't matter what happens after this if you lock it in. You could have gone +1 here about Luton Town. Something like 2.6, 2.7. Now that would have been wonderful. Had you got out in time, 76 minute there, and unpronounceable name, making it 3-2. Ehir Bation Khan. I bet they don't sing his name on the terraces, the poor lad. Making it 3-2. So even if it's a losing play, as a trader, it's what happens in play that counts. It's not the final result. You've got to remember that. And this is the tightrope we walk in the Conference League. A side as good as AZ Alkmaar, even against 10, not scoring a goal. Selja, 1.27. Again, this is just a little. My mouse is very, very touchy. It's a very woke mouse. Selja versus Shelburne, 0-0. Again, Crystal Palace, KuPS, red-carded KuPS. What on earth's going on here for Palace? Bankers of the day. Now, had KuPS made it, well, that's your angle. So I missed that one. What a pity. I saw this and I took them off my watch list immediately. But boom, boom. Partsy, Sek and Cisse. When did we get the 2-2? That was your angle in 53rd minute. So near to the beginning of the second half that Crystal Palace would have had plenty of time to get an equaliser. And including Antwi's red card and Devaney. Looks like there were some changes to the Palace side. And this is what you're going to face in Europe. Some names you don't know. But that was a brilliant trade. Sorry I missed that one yesterday. I saw the Palace lead against a Finnish side with home advantage, and I thought that's the end of that play. Bang. Should have paid more attention. It starred as well as one of my bankers yesterday. They only one of 2 stars or 3 stars, and they all delivered. So do create for yourself some bankers as well. I'm a bit disappointed I didn't lay the draw here, Breidablik and Strasbourg. I gave it a mention to you, but I was looking to get involved later on. Don't forget this lot are flying high in French League 1. It's such a competitive league that you must pay attention when they're flying high. And Aberdeen, gettable all day long, but Sparta Prague, far too good for all of that. Goals, goals, goals in Netherlands as well. And Portugal, Porto continue their excellent run. But Takeda Portugal, and they're leading in the league as well. Real Betis against Murcia, possibility to take on, I think, that late draw as well. But look at Getafe. We just don't know. No late draw, because it was a 30th minute goal for Betis. Had Murcia scored, I would be all over that. Pinheiro, Del Alamo. I bet they don't shout his name out on the terraces. And there's Anthony, ex of Manchester United. Class act in the right team, it would suggest. Let's have a look at today's trading angles. It's probably a day off for me today. So we work our way down. Anything of interest. Varazdin actually getting a win. Oh, I'm getting it mixed up with Vukovar. So I'll ignore that one. 2.2 the favourite. Swansea and Wrexham. Be very, very careful. What can you see about this match? It's a local geographical derby. Immediately you'll be on the back foot. Okay, anything can happen. Notably for Swansea, all wins have come against 18th and lower this season. It's quite something. When you have the challenge table like this, it does indicate things for you. All wins against 18th and lower. They play 15th today. Put those wins into context, therefore, and they might be gettable today. But Wrexham's away form is not that hot. 5 draws and 2 defeats in the last 7 away. Hence the lukewarm odds. 2 consecutive wins for the Swans, by the way. But let me just show you the challenge table. This is a website I rarely show you. It's called fcstats.com. It's very well worth your while if you want to look at challenge tables. I've got to verify I'm a human. Let's just, yeah, there we go. I am a human. Challenge table you'll find at the base here. What is the challenge table? It's quite simply a look at the league table as it stands with all the results as they stand. So you've got Wrexham here. You've got Swansea here. Look where all the Swansea wins come. Okay? That's what I'm talking about when I put wins into context. 2 consecutive wins as well, but they're playing 18th and lower. Look at Wrexham. They're playing the Swans today, side below them in the league. Big gap in form away. Gives us a bit of a question mark. So the challenge table is a vitally important piece of the jigsaw. And this is FC Stats. Have a look at it. It's a website you can use if the challenge table is not available at soccerstats.com. Northampton play at top 10 today and have only had 1 win, home and away, against the top 10 this season. Okay, not a match that appeals to me at all. I'm researching these manually under sufferance, to be honest. I don't like League 1, League 2. Really don't. Totally unreliable. And you don't want unreliability as a trader. You want readability. Wimbledon have conceded 13 of the 19 goals away from home in the second half. That could be an angle in today, particularly if they're leading by a small margin in the first half. That's the only real angle, I think. If it's 0-0 at half-time, possibilities of that And they also conceded 7 goals in the last 15 matches. Last 15 minutes of matches, Wimbledon away from home. So if they're leading by a small margin, let's say it's a 1-2 or a 0-1. I don't want to touch the match. 0-1 or 1-2 possibility to take on a Wimbledon lead later on. That's why we do the research, okay? A bit like Luton yesterday. Find that nugget of an angle. Make sure that you use liability control on these lower tiers. English League 2, let's have a look at this one. Again, under sufferance. I've done the match reports for members, and you'll note the XG reports are a little different because I've been enhancing the apps. And thank you very much, members, for contacting me about the apps. You'll probably get some information from me Monday, or I'll try to dig it out earlier. Just these apps have to be copied so that users can use them freely. I do hit API request limits, and I have to be careful with that because I update and enhance over 100 plus apps, and I'm also trying to get them out onto the cloud and on Firebase. I don't know what the bleep I'm talking about, but I'm trying to get these apps out into the real world, and it's incredibly difficult. Only 1 win in 10 for Barrow, plays only 2 away wins for Cheltenham. But why, oh why, are Barrow 1.91 favourites? Maybe it's in the challenge table. Let's have a look. So again, FC Stats. This is the quickest way to research a match, by the way. The quickest way to research a match, particularly at this stage of the season, November, December, when we've got plenty of matches under our belts. Just see if there's any angle in the challenge table. 18th plays 19th. So, oh lordy, this is awful, isn't it? They've been conceding 2+ goals against teams above them, but they're not really played any of the sides below them in the league yet, Barrow. So we've got a bit of a question mark about performance, don't we? But away from home, they've been conceding 2 goals away. It doesn't look good, does it? For a 1.91 favourite. You want me to back this lot at odds on? They've beaten 2nd and 8th, yes, but you want me to back them at odds on? Let's have a look at Cheltenham. And again, that whole raft of defeats. That 0-1, we can cover that with insurance, but they've got a 0-2 against bottom side. Are they just bottom? Just a fact. But look at this. 2-7-3, 2 goals conceded. It's an awful match. Don't forget you can pick your battles, eh? Win, 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 draw, win. I think my memory serves me right. Cambridge United were 1.61 when I was doing the research, up to 1.71. With that kind of a form, not conceding 2 goals at home either, I would star them very tentatively as banker material. But then Accrington Stanley have not conceded that 2nd goal in 6 out of 7 away matches. So that is very, very difficult as well. Who's going to be out? Who's going to win out here? Who's going to score that 2nd goal? 2 sides who make it very difficult for their opponent to score that 2nd goal. Maybe the answer is in the challenge table. Let's have a look. So you go back to the main FC Stats, have a look at Cambridge United and Accrington. Work our way down. Probably best to click H2H, head to head. Have a look at where these two are in the standings. And you can see only the 1 defeat for Cambridge. That's doable. We can cover insurance on that. Not conceded that 2nd goal at home. That's superb form. Where are Accrington Stanley? They are mid-table, 17th. Well, mid-ish table. Doing all of their better work, arguably, against 14th and lower. Home and away. Have an awful record away from home. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2 conceded recently. But, so my idea, not conceded that 2nd goal in 6 out of 7. That's 6 out of 7 matches overall. Overall. Notable. That's probably this run here. Not conceded that 2nd goal in 6 out of 7 overall. The reason I mentioned that, they might bring that form into today. But notably, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2 conceded. Where are Cambridge in the league? 9th. Okay. That is a reason why I've starred that today as a potential readable match. Crewe against Bristol Rovers. Let's take a look. Only 1 win in 7, plays 10 consecutive defeats. Awful stuff again. And you're asking me to back Crewe at odds on. Both teams scored in 9 of the last 11 for Crewe, but Bristol Rovers have only had one win away against the top 21. So yet again, if you wanted a very, very quick look at any of these matches, that's from, I think, the end of November onwards, when we've got plenty of matches under our belts, you can get form lines through this. Look at where Bristol Rovers are. Look at where Crewe are doing all their winning. At home, look at this. 2+ goals scored. Even when they're conceding 2, they're not losing against 14th and lower. That's something you can bring into today's match, particularly with Bristol Rovers. Only one win away via the top 21 was a 1-0. That's coverable by insurance. Not scoring that second goal away from home unless it's against bottom of the league. We saw Mönchengladbach's recent solid run, and again, it will all be there in the challenge table. Needed a context, and it was mostly away against the bottom 3. This has banker material written all over it for me. Dortmund consistently scoring 2+ away. Let's keep the theme of looking at the Bundesliga. Is it going to be up here? Head to head. And you'll see that Mönchengladbach's recent run needs a context of the challenge table. That's where it's going on. So you look at the recent form, it looks impressive, but it's not. They're getting absolutely tonked against the big boys. So we're expecting a Dortmund who've only lost one match all season against first in the league and beating sides away from home to really do a number today. Keeping clean sheets as well. I don't expect Mönchengladbach to be troubling the yellow wall today. Well, Mallorca on the mainland are just awful. Let's take a look. This will tell you everything you need to know about even why a poor Valencia are favourite today. Yes, against 6 and lower, unbeaten. That could be the reason why they're favourite today. But look at this away form for Mallorca. Might give them a chance today. They're keeping it very tight against teams below them in the league. Don't forget Valencia are below them. And most of their defeats away have come against the top 7. So arguably you could say that they've had an awful run, haven't they, of fixtures. So it might be a chance for Mallorca today. I wouldn't put it past them. Particularly Valencia's form in the challenge table is really poor, isn't it? Not really scoring that second goal often enough. Only scored it twice. Might give the likes of Mallorca a shot today. Not a match you want to be greatly getting involved in. Not scored that second goal against strugglers as well. Quick look at the XG for some of the matches today. The match report hasn't caught up with the quality of the app, so I'll maybe ask it to ensure that the stats are all brought into this. This is the old-fashioned way. 1.54 expected goals to 1.46. It looks like Dortmund are just waiting to score 2 goals today against the Mönchengladbach, who don't have. Struggle for that second goal is what anything under 1.5 tells you. Struggling for that second goal against a side who keeps sides to a single goal. Banker material. Well, despite being an odds-on favourite, Cambridge United, this suggests that they are struggling for that second goal consistently enough. And a 1.29 XG for Accrington suggests that they will concede at least a goal, but might give sides something to think about conceding that second goal. So for a 1.71 favourite, it's not that hot, but we saw the form, didn't we? The form lines aren't that bad. But Accrington's recent ability to keep sides from scoring that single goal needs to be respected. Please make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. It helps the algorithm. Any comments as well below, anything you'd like covered. Don't forget, there's some free articles for you at FootballTradingProfits.com. And when I say they're free, they're free. You can log out, visit as a free member or a free person, and you can read about why Arsenal's expected goals is so solid this season. Manchester United's underlying numbers are lying. And we've got also read about the Black Cats. Read about the African Cup of Nations. Who's going to be affected by it? It's vitally important you know this information. So those articles are here. Day off today. I might see members later on. Have a great day.